Hi, it's Tess here. So this is video number 2 of my series, What Do I Do? What is an integration coach? So in today's video, I want to get that hair off of me. Seriously, I cannot do a video without something like that. But I suppose that's just fate because it brings out who I am, really. So today I just want to talk a little bit about what integration is. What do I mean when I say integration, right? It's the same thing that I mean when I say releasing trauma. And there are a whole lot of other ways that I talk about integration. So really briefly, all human beings follow a path of action. Before we make any action, we go through 3 steps before the action. So anyway, the path of action is 4 steps. Number 1, perception, right? We have lots of different senses. I'm pointing to my head because some of them are kind of, here, housed here. So, we have sight and hearing and taste and touch and feeling and whatever you want to call that last one, somatosensory kind of thing, perception of, other people's senses, like this way that we communicate without those first 5 senses. Next, we have interpretation. So we perceive something and then we make an interpretation based on that perception. So let me give you an example, okay? That first one, I perceive, okay, I hear my child crying in the next room. So I'm going to make an interpretation. This interpretation is based on my lived experience, right? So it's going to be totally unique to me, although in this case, it probably has a lot in common with what most people would think. My interpretation is, my child is crying. Then I'm going to have a feeling. This is the third part of the path of action. In my case, I'm a mother. We have a lot of mirror neurons and all that. So, probably I'm also going to feel sad. I'm going to feel sad. Okay, so I have heard my child crying. I've interpreted that my child is sad. I now feel sad. Number 4, I'm going to do an action. I'm going to take action. Okay, I'm going to get off my chair and I'm going to go and check out my child in the next room. However, now imagine that last step can't happen for some reason, all right? Somebody is blocking me from going to check on my child. Some horrible stranger has just entered my house and won't let me check on my child. What is the action I'm going to take then? Because guess what? We kind of have to take an action or else we maintain that feeling in the extraordinary vessel that is our bodies. So the action that I could take is to emote the feeling, okay? So imagine emote is energy in motion. That feeling is an energy that came and passed itself into me. If I want to release the feeling of sadness, just like if I were going to release any kind of trauma, then I might use an emotion, like I might cry, right? To emote is a verb. It's an action word. I might cry, and that would actually release the feeling of sadness. Well, that being said, of course, in this imaginary hypothetical situation, I'd probably be really scared and angry by now too. So I might have other things that I need to release. I don't know why I chose something that really sounds so traumatic to me. Okay, new scenario. Right? So I just said that if we can't take an action, we'll actually hold the feeling in our bodies. So imagine in this scenario, and it seems pretty realistic at this point, that I don't actually believe that I'm safe to emote at all. Like, I don't think I'm safe to cry. I don't think I'm safe to enact my anger on this stranger. I'm just imagining some like big man. I don't know why I'm imagining such a horrible thing. And I might not believe that I'm safe even to express my fear. So if in this scenario, I'm very likely to actually hold that feeling inside, which is probably a good idea in this imaginary scenario because I'm not safe. Here's the thing though, human bodies are so amazing. More on that in the next series. Human bodies are so amazing that we will actually hold on to this feeling in the fascia, like the tissue of our bodies, until we can let it go. Super cool and super troublesome in a society that degrades or, like shames crying or tears or, makes it really difficult for people to walk down the street grieving and screaming and wailing, which is a totally normal thing for people to do, really. So I will get into that later. And in the next series, I'll talk about what happens when we hold those feelings inside. So this video was about the path of action and where feelings come from, right? We don't have a choice over our feelings, although we do have a choice as to how we interpret things. But, again, more on that later. So we don't have a choice as to the feelings that sort of come into our body, and we can either choose to move them on out or we can hold them in. What happens when we hold them in the next video? See you then. Don't forget to subscribe.